All right, we're like at 12:01, so I will go ahead and get started. So, yeah, welcome to our next installment of our 15-minute lunch break series. The purpose of these is to just put out some good, useful information in a smaller and more digestible format. And this series is focusing on elevating your videos for social media, because we at First Name, we really, really believe in the power of video and in the power of video storytelling, and have seen our client partners achieve some really big successes and wins using video as one of those tools to help just engage constituents, engage donors, and kind of help make that authentic connection. And so for the next couple of weeks, I am going to be giving you just some tips and tricks on ways that you can make your videos better suited for social media. And this will come in the form of things that you can do in your editing and video production process, as well as things you can do on the social media platform itself when you're posting. And so I suppose I should introduce myself. I'm Mariana Bunkers. I am a digital marketing associate at First Name, and I am kind of the resident video expert when it comes to video. So I'm really excited to be sharing just a few simple but kind of key and big ways to kind of help you up your video game. I know video can be kind of daunting for some people, but it doesn't have to be. So yeah, we can kind of go ahead and get started. And so when we're thinking about kind of elevating our videos for social media and making our videos better suited for social media, the first step to doing that is optimizing our videos for the social media platforms that we're putting them on. You could have the most beautifully shot and edited video, but if it doesn't actually look good on the platform that it's posted on, that is going to affect that video's performance. And so the first thing we can do to help that is to upload directly to the platform. The platform that you choose to upload your content to will have an impact on its success. Metrics like views, likes, shares will all be affected by this simple thing of uploading directly to the platform. And so when we're thinking about that, we want to think about how not all platforms are compatible with each other. For instance, YouTube and Instagram, they don't allow you to share a video link from another platform. They only allow you to upload natively. And another thing is social media platforms are competitors with one another. Social media platforms want to keep you on their platform. They want to keep you on their site, and they don't want you to potentially redirect to another platform. And so therefore, the kind of elusive algorithm is going to prioritize videos directly uploaded to the platforms themselves, as opposed to links shared from outside sources. So for instance, Facebook prioritizes videos directly uploaded to Facebook versus videos shared from another platform such as YouTube. And uploading directly to Facebook gives users 10 times more organic shares because of that algorithm, because Facebook pushes up content that is posted directly on their platform. And you can kind of see this across the board. The same thing is with Twitter, as well as LinkedIn. LinkedIn has, very clearly stated that videos shared via a link from other platforms will be hidden from most users' feeds and will not elicit as high of a level of engagement as native videos. So these platforms are being very clear and upfront about their desire for users to post natively. And so that is kind of a simple thing that we can do. Another thing is videos on Facebook and Twitter, these native videos, they play automatically. You don't need to press a play button like videos that are shared from YouTube and other platforms. And that, that can seem like a really small thing, but that small step of having that play button not have to be pressed and those videos automatically starting, that makes a really big impact on if people are going to stop and watch your video. That extra step, it might not seem like a big thing, but it can be. And so taking out that one, half a second thing can make a big difference. Why? Because you don't need to, you can engage them with more than just a stagnant title and thumbnail. You can get their attention with something that's moving, with something that's dynamic, because that's what videos are, right? That's why we create videos, because we want it to be dynamic and authentic and interesting and to catch people's attention. And if just a stagnant thing rolls across their screen, that's not going to jump out to them as much. And so the next thing when we're thinking about uploading, directly to the platform is how can we make our videos look as good as they can on the platforms we're putting them on. And so that is why the size or the aspect ratio of videos matter. And that's why we want to optimize each video aspect ratio for the platform that we're using. And so why? Because mobile content consumption is increasing. 98% of Facebook users access the platform via mobile. 98% of people, use at least their phones to use Facebook some of the time. That's a really large number. And video format affects the user's experience of your video, because the format that they're, if they're using it on their phone or their desktop, that format can matter. In video format, regardless of the content, it plays a role in how many people can see your video, how long they watch it, and their willingness to engage with it. And so I'm going to talk through the three different aspect ratios that are commonly used. So the first one is landscape video. This is kind of the old school, so to say, the original way that we viewed video. It's the way that desktops are set up. It's the way that our TVs are set up. And that is a 9:16 ratio. 9:16 is a little newer because it's, it's a widescreen format, but nonetheless, that is how, again, our desktops and TVs are set up. And so, as much as portrait and square videos have kind of come into play on social media, landscape videos are not going anywhere. We're never going to have a portrait style TV. Tablets exist, yes, but desktops are never going to all of a sudden switch to landscape, or that's very unlikely. I don't see that happening anytime soon. And so landscape videos are not going anywhere. They are here to stay. And with that, thinking about how landscapes are best suited, they're best suited when viewed on a desktop. Why? Because desktops already have that landscape orientation for them. And so platforms that accept landscape videos are YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. YouTube exclusive, like they only accept landscape. They do not accept, you can't upload a square or portrait video to YouTube, because YouTube really views itself as, a video platform. That is all it is. And so when we're uploading to YouTube, we can only use landscape, but Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, we can use a few other orientations as well. And so portrait is kind of, the new player in the game, one of them. And these videos are best suited for mobile. Why? Because our phones are already set up. Our screens are already set up to view as portrait. And so there are two popular portrait ratios. The first is a 4:5, which you see right here. And this is best for posting on feeds. It doesn't take up the entire screen, but it still takes up a really large portion compared to landscape videos. But it's kind of not as in your face as 9:16, which is best for posting on stories. Because again, that takes up the whole screen. Stories are meant to take up your whole screen. And so platforms that accept portrait video are Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. All of these platforms accept both 4:5 and 9:16 for posting on feeds, but my recommendation would be to use a 4:5 when posting on feeds, because again, it's a little less jarring, but it still takes up a really large portion of your screen. And then our final orientation is a square orientation. This has really come into play in the last couple of years and has really started to form along with portrait with the rise of social media. And so square videos are more suitable for viewing on both desktop and on mobile devices. Why? Because square videos take up 78% more space on a feed than landscape, but they don't crowd the entire screen like vertical videos do. So you kind of get the best of both worlds with square videos, especially if you think that your users are going to be, or your viewers are going to be using both mobile and desktop to view your videos. Square videos kind of really do give you the best of both worlds in terms of the way to make your video look really good on social media and to make it be really well optimized to make it look pretty, for lack of a better word, to make it look like it fits, to make it stand out in a really positive way. And so platforms that accept a 1-to-1 ratio are Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And so again, when we're thinking about all of these different players, right? The percentage or the amount of people that are viewing content on mobile devices, what orientation looks best on mobile devices, things like that. We want to think about how your audience is viewing your video. So the first thing to think about is what platform are you posting on? And then think about, are they viewing it on desktop or mobile? And so, for instance, Twitter users, 80% of Twitter users at least use a mobile device, and 93% of video views are on mobile devices on Twitter. On Facebook, I mentioned that 98% of users use mobile devices, at least a mobile device. That means, and 79% of users exclusively only use a mobile device. And so that means, that's only about 20% of users on Facebook that are using a desktop at all. And that is, occasionally it's like 1 or 2% that exclusively use a desktop. And so Facebook is, it's a mobile platform. And, 79% or 65% of videos on Facebook are viewed on mobile devices. So when we're thinking about Facebook, we really want to think that Facebook is optimized for mobile viewing. But then when we think about LinkedIn, 57% of users use mobile. So LinkedIn is kind of in the lower realm of things when it comes to desktop versus mobile. It is still a largely, desktop oriented site. 43% of users use a desktop about. And so, give or take, there's likely a lot more than that. And so LinkedIn, we kind of want to view that as more of a desktop site than a mobile site. And so these are kind of just all factors and players, and we're thinking about how exactly do we figure out what orientation we want to use. And I have kind of done that work for you. I made a video aspect ratio guide. So this kind of shows you on a phone what each aspect ratio looks like. And these are my recommendations for what aspect ratio to use with each platform. So for landscape, it's best suited for desktop, but YouTube and LinkedIn, those are two platforms that I would say if you're posting a video on those platforms, YouTube, we don't have any other option. But LinkedIn, if you're posting a video on LinkedIn, landscape is the way to go. Square, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I don't know why that says YouTube. I will fix that one. But Facebook and Instagram both are best for, or work well for Square. Facebook and Instagram also work well for vertical videos. And then full portrait or vertical videos, that 9:16 is for Facebook and Instagram stories or Instagram TV. And so this is kind of a video aspect ratio guide that I've put together that we can send anyone who would like it after the fact. But these are just kind of the two ways that I really recommend optimizing your videos for social media. The first is just upload to your platform natively. I know it can be a little more work to upload, one by one, as opposed to uploading and then sharing a link, but it really will make a difference in how many people can view your video. And since we're already doing that, I would recommend just, optimizing your video orientations and ratios to look the best as possible, to look as good as they can on those screens. And so kind of with that, we have our next installment of these webinars. Again, we just want to give you kind of short, easy, really simple ways to kind of up your social media game and Next week, we're talking about how to make your video's first impression count. So, we talk about being a scroll stopper. How can you be a scroll stopper and make people really be interested and curious about what exactly it is that you're posting? One good question is if you, only have time to ask, or if you only have time or only have the capacity to optimize for kind of one video format, my recommendation would be a square format, just because that seems to be the most universal across platforms, and it's going to look the best universally for desktop and mobile. But yeah, we really appreciate you joining this Lunch and Learn, and we look forward to talking more and sharing more about video next week. Thanks, everybody.